What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? We're back here. Let's have some fun again today. Welcome back. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some real estate money. Let's just make sure we can see everybody. If you can hear me, please let me know that you can hear me. And then we can get started right away. Got some really cool stuff today that I want to share with you. Cool updates. Cool updates. All right, so I have another reason why you should focus on ugly houses. To be honest with you, there's a couple of things I want you to focus on with regards to the business of real estate investing. If you want to take advantage of these times and the wave of opportunities that are coming towards this business right now, it's very, very important that you pay attention to this session that we have going on right now. This is from Data to Deals. We're on episode, what is this? Sixth episode of a minimum of 100. So we're going to a place, okay? One of the things I always tell people is that if you want to do something and you want to make the most out of it, you want to make sure you dedicate a minimum of at least 90 days to it, okay? But as always, if it's going to take 90 days to do something, I always want to make sure that I at least not just 90 days, that I put an additional 10 days on top of it. So minimum, we're going to go 100 days on this one, a 6th day. So it's going to be a journey, okay? And I want you to come along with me. At the very minimum, it's actually better for you to come live so you can ask questions as you go. Because if you don't ask your questions when I'm live, then just like everything else, life happens and you guess what, it gets swept under the rug and then you forget about it, right? So with that being said, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Yesterday, thank you so much if you came by here yesterday and you give us those thumbs up. We had 10. So today's goal is 10. We don't want to go backwards. Make sure you give it a thumbs up, at least 10 thumbs up, okay? With that being said, a couple of things I wanted to share with you before we dive into data. We're going to be sharing some data. Let me start sharing my screen right away. We're going to go into, let's find out what county should we go. If you have a suggestion of a county we should go into, if you're hanging out with me right now and you live in a county, we can go into your county today if you're hanging out with me. So if you use the chat box to enter the county that you live in and you want us to dive in through that data, I would love to do that. If you don't do that in the next 60 seconds, I will go get one of those 3,000 counties around the nation and we can work on that as well. All right, so let's see. Where's the window? All right, so we're going to dive into some data today. Let's see here. Cancel. Let me just see. Okay, that's why. There you go. Now we can share screen again. All right. All right. I'm just gonna have to scroll all the way down to find it, I guess. Interesting. All right. Let me just. All right. So when you had your county, make sure you tell me what state in the United States that the county is in. I would love to see what state that is, and then Search prop stream. I'm just getting ready to share my screen right now so we can get started with that. Share. Let's see. Where is it? Okay. Interesting. Entire screen. Okay. Let me just go ahead and reduce the screen down a little bit. Share screen. All right. Yeah. Plug in what county? Okay. Let's see here. I think I have somebody here. What's your name, sir? TX Anaconda. All right. So we're gonna go to Bexar County in Texas. That's where we're gonna go today. Awesome. 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 Let's go to Bexar County. Definitely. Now the software I'm gonna be using. You will see it's at empirebigdata.com. You can try it out, but let's just go through it together, and then I'll tell you what's going on. I just want to make sure. Let's see. Share screen. A little sloppy today. Chrome tab. That's not what we want. Okay. So I'm just gonna have to use our Chrome. All right. Prop stream. I had to switch browsers, guys. Sorry. Let's see. Logging from there. In Texans, pronounced beer. Okay. All right. Or Beer County. Oh, it's pronounced Beer County. Got you. Thank you so much. There's no way I could have known that. Let's see here. All right. So while I'm trying to share the screen, the one thing I wanted to share with you, you want to focus on ugly houses because let me see. Focus on ugly houses. No one wants to live in their home right now. No one wants to leave their home right now. Okay. So you will notice in some of the filters we're going to be using here in a second, you will notice that, let's see. All right. Just pardon me for a second while I try to get this together. Okay. Did we just lose that screen? Oh my God. All right, let me just make sure that I'm live still. Computer is acting up today. If you can still hear me, we're trying to get it back. Okay. Okay, you can still hear me. So let me just try to get my screen back. 1 second. Okay. Okay. Let's move that down. Option, Command, Escape. That's not what we want. Okay. Force quit this. Okay. So I'm gonna act this out too. Interesting. Window, StreamYard. Found it. Okay, I found it. I was looking for this screen. Nobody knows the X is silent. Okay, thank you, thank you. All right, so Bear County, yes. There's no way I could have known that unless we have someone like you here hanging out. So I really appreciate that. So we got the screen back. We're trying to log in and just so we can share the screen, and then we run into issues, but we got it back. Hallelujah. So I was saying you want to make sure you focus on vacant houses, ugly houses, basically unwanted houses. You want to focus your marketing dollars, your marketing resources, your time, your marketing time. You want to make sure you focus your marketing energy on properties that people don't want, because honestly, if someone still lives in the property, they don't want to let go right now in certain parts of the country because of everything that's going on. Okay. So the good news is that at any point in time, either there's Corona going on or not, or COVID-19, there's always a property out there that nobody wants. And that's the good news. Okay. And that's what we focus on. Okay. That's what we focus on. So that's very, very important that you understand that. Okay. So I can share the screen now. Awesome. Proceed. All right. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen right now, and I'm gonna hide the comment, and then so you can try this out yourself at empirebigdata.com. You can sign up for the software to use it for 7 days and try it out. So we're going to Bear County. We're gonna call it Bear County, spelled Bexar County. Always make sure you put county, okay, and then put the state, and there you have it, and then it comes up. If you don't do it exactly the way I just did it, it may not come up, and then you'll end up with questions like, this doesn't work. So we are in Bear County today. This is a lot of fun. Anytime I see numbers like this, I just get excited. So like I was saying, you want to make sure you focus on ugly houses, vacant houses, non-owner occupied houses. Okay, a couple of things that we know. We now know that there are 6,964 properties on the market in that area. Not all residential. Some of them are not fully residential. We want to make sure we're focused on residentials as well, because in this time, people are loving their home, and people that don't have a home, there's also another theory out there by a gentleman called Phil Pujiaski. Okay, he has the biggest YouTube channel on real estate investing on YouTube. You can check him out. He had a theory. He had a couple of things today. Basically, less inventory because nobody wants to sell their home. Okay, like their pretty home. And then the other thing is that there's demand coming to the market. People that could afford it, they're working from home now, so they're suddenly enjoying the home a little bit better, and they would like it to not be an apartment complex. So people are open to buying right now. Also, remember that the Feds just recently beat down the interest rate. So people want to take advantage of 3.5, 3.8% interest rate right now. So there's a weird little twist to how is this going to affect the market, and everyone is still observing and still trying to see where it's going to go. But that's what people have been seeing in the past 4 weeks, okay, in certain markets. So either way, with the way we're set up here, the markets always need investors. The markets always need wholesalers, because you're the one that find these deals for the investors that will fix and flip and put it back on the market, basically providing inventory for the market. So if the investors know that, wow, inventories are short, which means less supply of good homes in the market, that means increasing price. That's basic economics, right? And if there's more demand, that's also increasing prices. And the whole idea of the Feds, that President Trump is going to go hard at making sure that the economy gets back up because of his reputation, his time and legacy is attached to it. So you're in a very good position if you're trying to invest in real estate. You want to make money wholesaling in real estate. You want to flip properties. You can do that anywhere in the nation. Right now, I'm in New Jersey, and I'm about to dive in through this data right now. We're gonna have some fun diving through this data. You can do that using the same software. You can find deals for people locally. You have access to all the cash buyers in that particular area. So from what I can see right now, at least on record, we have 63,000 cash buyers in that marketplace. So I want to go a little backwards today. I want to do this a little bit backwards. Let's go see how many cash buyers actually is in that market in the last 1 year. I'm going to click here. Okay, so we're going to go backwards because you want to. There's a saying in real estate that you should exit before you enter, right? That means you should know how you're gonna what you should know what your exit strategy is before you enter real estate. Most people go backwards. They go enter a real estate deal and then try to figure out how to sell it. That always backfire. That's not the good place to be. So I clicked on cash buyers. We have 63,000. I'm going to go through this filter and basically go to sales date. Okay, we're going to go to ownership info and the sales date. I want that sales date to be within the last 1 year. Okay, all right. So here I can say no, I could just leave this as is. I'm going to click here and go 12 months into the past. I'm just simply going to click the year and go to 12/19. That's perfectly fine like that. And it looks like I did not hit it properly. All right, you got to click a date, okay, like that. Okay, so we've gone back a whole 1 year, and if I do that, I close this, it says nothing. There's no sales in the last 1 year in that area, okay, at least not on this particular property. So I'm going to look at that. We want to make sure we look at that data closely, okay, because it's saying no cash buyers in the last 1 year in that marketplace. Okay, now, okay, that says a lot. Okay, that's probably not a market I would want to go into. Okay, but let me see where Bear County is on my list here, and I'll tell you what the population. I do have a list of 3,000 plus counties in the nation. Another reason why you don't want to get stuck in your locality, you want to understand that all of the whole nation is yours. You can go into any market. So you want to make sure that there's enough people in that place. You want to make sure that there's a big enough market in the county that you want to target. Your target county does not have to be your residence. Okay, so I'm going to search through my list here. BRX. All right, so it's actually a fairly popular county. It's 1.8 million people in that county. Okay, all right, so let me see, maybe something with the where I put this in. Oh, you know why? We figure out why. Maybe you actually caught that. Let's see. So if you're paying attention, you should have caught that. Okay, what happened was that I still did not select the right year. Okay, basically, how many cash buyers between today and today, and that was the error. If you look here, I put 2020. It needs to be 2019. That was a mistake somewhere there. I want to click on 12 now. Okay, and then the number should be there. You go. That's better. See, that's it right there. So 5,275 cash transaction in that area in the last 1 year. Does that sound better? Does that look better? Does that look better? Please make sure you give it a thumbs up before you leave. Give it a thumbs up. Give the video a thumbs up. All right. If that's making sense to you, please make sure you give it a thumbs up. Okay. All right. So that was the issue there. That was the issue right there. Let's see here. Let's reduce that down. All right. All right. So let's go back and take a closer look. All right. So I'm going to go in the filter again. Okay. And I'm going to go look for all, property that are, I just want to, I'm curious. I want to see how many are free and clear, right? So here it says cash buyer. I can say include all cash buyer. These are all cash buyers, right? So it's the same thing. It's basically going to say the same thing because the filter is already in there as cash buyer. And if I do, let's see, this is preference, seller carry back. All right, so this looks good so far. Okay, it looks good so far. So we have 5,000 cash buyers that I can shop a deal to. I can basically find these people's phone number. We call that skip tracing, right? And I can skip trace their email address, their phone number, and I can send them postcards and get them on my list. These are people I will shop a deal to once I find a deal. So let's go ahead and look for a deal now. Okay, I'm going to take out this filter. I'm just going to clear all. You can use the clear all button. We're going to go back to Bear County, Texas. Okay, and so we're not messing with it. We're already good on this. So we're going to go to my favorite list is pre-foreclosures, but it's also the most popular because not for obvious reasons, right? It has the highest number of people that are potentially in distress. I mean, want to sell at a discount. The idea of going after pre-foreclosure is that they are facing foreclosures, and it's very likely they may want to sell. Okay, now 637 is not a lot, but it's not bad either, right? I mean, we're looking at the other list here is high equity, meaning they have space. They may be able to sell cheaper, but they don't necessarily have a reason to sell. They don't necessarily have a reason to sell at a deep discount, because the idea of wholesaling and real estate investing is that you make your money when you buy. You're making your money where you buy because you're buying at a deep discount. So if you were here yesterday, I told you the new numbers is not 65%. Okay, it's not 65%. It's actually more like 45 to 55%. That's the kind of deal. 45 to 55% of after repair value or loan to value, or however way. Basically, you want to be in cost. You want to be in no more than 55% of what the property is worth in the last 6 months. And last 6 months obviously does not indicate the future, but it's the closest you can use to indicate the future. The further into the past you go, the more inaccurate your value evaluation is. Okay, but we can still use the last 6 months. Okay, I'll tell you, the default is 1 year, but in this market right now, the banks are scared, buyers are scared, sellers are scared, so they're trying to make sure that they don't spend money like a stupid maniac. Okay, so they want to make sure they protect their money. So because of that, they're more stringent on the criteria. Does that make sense? All right, so let's keep going. Let's go back to the data here. All right, so we have so I start from pre-foreclosure, but I want to make sure I narrow down the list. Because somebody is facing foreclosure does not mean they are willing to sell to me. So I want to make sure there are other reasons, more than one reasons, why they will be willing to sell at a discount or will be willing to get rid of a property. Why they may be desperate. The word is desperate. We call them motivated seller, but you need them to be desperate to sell the property because they simply can't afford to hold on to the property. So I'm going to click on pre-foreclosure, right? And then I'm going to go into the filters. Okay. And then we are going to go to owner occupied. This is a person who is occupying their property is a home for them. It's not just a house now, it's a home. So remember what I said earlier, no one is willing to leave their property right now, not in these times. Okay. And this is another reason why people why there's low inventory in the market. And low inventory means you can command a better price on the property, especially when there's a high demand. The high demand part, I'm still a little skeptical on that, but there's no need for skepticism. Bottom line is that it's all a numbers game. Okay. And the beauty with being a wholesaler is that you can just look at the numbers from this software, which is available to you, right? And know what's going on in any market in the nation. Okay, so a person that's occupying their property and they own it, they're probably not willing to sell right now. So I'm going to say no. Okay, I don't want to market to those people. Okay, if they reach out to me, somebody passed my postcard to them, and of course I'll take the deal. I'm just talking about the allocation of my marketing resources needs to be on point. Okay, because if there's no more properties that fit my criteria in Bear County, Texas, I will go somewhere else. Okay, there are 3,000 plus other counties in the nation where I can spend my money. Okay, so I'm going to say no on that. Occupancy status. If your property is occupied right now, again, the people in there are not willing to move right now. You don't want to buy a property and then tomorrow you find out that it needs work, but they're not willing to move, or they're paying too low of a rent and they're not willing to move. Generally, an investor who just bought a property that they're paying rent, but it's too low and it needs some work. They would like them to be out of the property. You don't want that. So again, I want to market to vacant properties because again, vacant property is vacant for a reason. It's because it needs some repairs. It's additional reason why the owner is distressed, and they would want to sell at a deep discount. Okay. Again, I'm just trying to stack on top of the motivations, the potential motivations to want to sell. That's the idea, right? Property characteristics. I'm going to go here and I would like that to be residential. I don't want to deal with office buildings. I don't want to deal with the doctor's office. I don't want to. I don't mind dealing with it. I don't want to spend my marketing dollars on it because majority of the volume of our deals comes from, guess what? Residential, and that's where we want to spend our money. If you're as a marketer, remember you're a marketer, right? So as a marketer, you are essentially, you will get results, okay, as you're doing this business, and you want to make sure that wherever you're getting the most results, that's where you allocate your resources, okay, to get more of it, obviously. And you may say, but Ola, you could be missing out on a deal that's a office building. You're right, but again, this is a numbers game as far as I'm concerned, and I want to make sure that the resources are allocated in the right direction, okay? So there you go. I'm going to go here, residential, and basically everything else on that list will be suppressed, okay? Here, I don't want to deal with the apartment building or anything like that. This is just not the game, okay? This is a different game for that. This game here is residential properties, single family and multifamily up to 4 family. That's where most of the volume of sales will be, especially now that everyone is learning how to work from home. We want to deal with homes, okay? So multifamily 2 to 4. Anything above that will require commercial loans, and it's a lot less buyers on the retail front end of the funnels of real estate. Okay, so I suppress everything else. I select single family and multi 2 4 family. Okay, I'm gonna keep going on the stack. Okay, as far as number of bedrooms, I don't really worry about that because again, you have power on those things once you acquire a property to be fixed, right? So home features, I don't worry about that. We're on the wholesale end of things. We're just trying to pick up a deal. It's a house, has some space in it, and then is on the property records of the county. That's what we want, right? Now, under the status right here, MLS status, the next stack here, I don't want it to be on the market, okay? I don't want to market to a property that's already on the market. Why? Because an agent already listed it on the market. An agent is dealing with that person. Now, could I find a deal from an agent? Yes, but I'd rather that the agent call me. I don't want to spend my marketing dollars on a property that's already been listed on the market. It's already, I don't want to deal with that. Okay. There's other reasons why we don't, but generally we deal with houses, off-market deals. Okay. And you talk to the homeowner directly and you're able to negotiate a deal. Okay. Because they're the one that, remember, where the target is at people that the ownership of the property is distressed. Okay. They don't want this house. Okay. That's who you want to talk to. Anybody that indicates that they want the house, they need to be talking to a realtor. If they called you, you can refer them to your realtor, but your marketing dollars and resources should target people that are most likely going to work with you. Okay. So I like to know here. Okay. All right. So on the pre-foreclosure, the pre-foreclosure means quite a few things. Okay. It means notice of default. It means property on auction. Okay. Notice of default is basically they're late on their payment, and if a notice of default has been filed with the court, and some people call that lease pendings, right? And lease pendings is I think it's a French word. I keep saying I think we should find out once and for all what is it, right? So I'm going to Google that real quick. Lease pendings, I think, is a French word for pending lawsuit. All right, and then I'll tell you what that is. Yep, it's a pending lease. Pendings mean a pending legal action or a formal notice of this. Okay. Now I don't know if it's French word, but it looks like it may be French word. But yeah, that's that. I'm not sure. Let me see here. Let me see if I can. Oh, it's Latin. It's Latin for legal action, pending legal action, or formal notice of exactly that. Okay. So lease pendings is the same thing as notice of default. Auction is basically notice of default plus a date has been scheduled for foreclosure, not yet foreclosed on, but the date has been scheduled. Where I like to be is this two. I like to talk to people on this two list. Okay, those are the people I target. Default releases, I don't mind. That means they released it, they paid up, and they're now off the list. I don't mind that, simply because at least we have signs that they're struggling with the ownership of the property, and it's not in foreclosure right now. They had a dismissal, right? It was dismissed from the court. Bank owned means it was already foreclosed on, and the bank is in the possession of the property right now. Okay, so those are the three levels I am willing to deal with. Anything else? Bank owned, you have to deal with the agent. It's usually listed with an agent. It's called REO in other places. That means real estate owned by banks, right? So we don't want to deal with that. That's a different ball game. It's a different ball game entirely, and you don't market to that. That's my point, because you will essentially end up marketing to a bank that owns the property. Okay, so don't do that. Just deal with the agents if you have the kind of money to deal with that. Ownership info. I like it to be owned for a minimum of 5 years, 5 to 7 years, but 5 years is fine, because this 5 years. Okay, I'll keep it 5 years, because I'm looking at my list. There's only one more property on this list right now already, so we're already narrowed the list down to one. And I like to see some volume. This is probably not going to be my typical county to market to. I like to see a lot more data, a lot more action, okay, in terms of this list. But let's keep going. On this list, I like to suppress anything that has active bankruptcy, right? I like to suppress that. I don't want to market to a property that's locked up in a bankruptcy lawsuit, okay? And here I like to see 50% minimum equity, meaning they're not underwater, right? They don't owe too much money against the property. So I like to see 50%. That way we have an opportunity to buy right away and sell right away without having to deal with short sales with the bank. Because if they owe too much money to the bank, like let's say, for example, they owe $400,000 against a $300,000 property, then we will have to negotiate a short sale. Can you do that? That's actually how I started my career back in 2005. I did a ton of those, but it's just a lot less work to not have to deal with that, especially with access to data around the nation. I don't. Back then I was just stuck in my locality, which is New Jersey. Okay, so things are a little bit different. So I have a lot more access to a lot more data. All right, and I think that's it. I'm going to click close. We end up with only one property. Okay. So if I end up with only one property, I don't want to be chasing this one property for the next 1 month. I'll probably will you can save this filter. You can save this filter and then go to nearby counties. Okay, you can go to nearby counties essentially. All right. So is this making sense? If it's making sense, please make sure give it a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. Thank you. Give it a thumbs up if it's making sense. The goal today is 10 thumbs up. Thank you so much. All right, so let's go. So we have this property. Before I go take a look at other opportunities that may be available, let's just look at this property. It's scheduled for auction on 4/7. Okay, so we don't know if it was auctioned or not. All right. One thing you can do is you can go back to your filter. You can add this. Okay, you can go under pre-foreclosure. You can say auction date has to be a maximum of has to be a minimum of today. Okay, that means you don't want anything that would have been auctioned. And when I did that, guess what happened? It disappeared off my list. So basically, the filter that I just set up was too tight. It was too tight. Okay, for that location. Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of things I could relax on. Okay, and then see if it's doable. Now, the place where it says vacant, I can relax that to occupied because it's showing the last time on data that is vacant doesn't mean it's not vacant. Okay, if I really want to be in this location, I can put it on any. Okay, and when I did that, nothing else, it didn't really matter. So that's not really a criteria I can relax on. Okay, let's go to this is not negotiable for me. It has to be not on the market. Pre-foreclosures. Okay, let's see here. All right, there's not much to do here. This one here, maximum 5 years, minimum. Okay, so I need it to be minimum years owned. Maybe I can relax that by 3. Let's see if that makes it different. It doesn't. Not really. And put that on 0. Let's see what that says. No, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, so I like that to be 5 years still. 5. I'm gonna leave it at 5. Let's go look at other things we can look at. All right. So I think the list probably okay. So when I went here, I think let me take that out. Okay, so that really doesn't matter too. All right. So I think it may have been tightened by this. Let's see. So let's take out this. Let's see what comes back on the list. Okay, so that really doesn't matter too. Okay, so let's go back here. I'm going to take out this. I'm going to take out the as active bankruptcy. I'm going to take that out. Okay. Include, I'm going to take that out. Years of ownership, I'll take that out. So you can over your mouse over these filters and take that out. Bottom line right now, I can tell I'm not going in this county. I'm only doing this because this is the county of the day. Okay. Okay, auction date minimum is today. It has to be in the future, essentially. Okay, but it didn't really matter. Okay, that did matter. Okay, so I think I have an idea. I think what I heard. Okay, let's see. We have 10 properties on this list right now. Okay, so everything. The auction date is let's see. Okay, we got a few more here. So we got a few properties here. The laws, the foreclosure laws in Texas are a little bit weird. So if you're definitely going to be in Texas, you definitely want to get to know the foreclosure laws. Here in New Jersey, it can take 11 months, 10 months, 11 months before they actually foreclosed on the property. So which means you can actually talk to the owner, okay? And they have ample time to talk to them and see if you can negotiate the deal in between, okay? Let me go see something really quickly. When I went back here, okay, so I set a date here and I said it cannot, the auction date has to be in the future, and that took out the whole list. So typically, I don't even use this number at all. Okay, I don't use that criteria at all. So I'm gonna just take that out. Okay, I have to click X here, take it out. Okay, so if I take that out, if I put this on, if I put auction, so everything, most of it has an auction date already. Okay, and that's what is minimizing the list like that. Okay, so now I have 10 on this list. Now let me go back to some of the older criteria that I had. I had this to be minimum of 5 years owned. Okay. I still don't want anything with the active bankruptcy on it. I still like the idea of a 50%. Okay. For equity. All right. So that ended up giving us that. Okay. So if I go back here to properties here, okay. All right. So we ended up with this one property. Okay. Let's just look at this property. So typically, I would like that property to be about somewhere between 50 and 100 that I can go after for the next 1 month. Okay, if you're just getting started. Okay, now it all depends on your budget. Okay, you should have at least $100 per month to spend on a total of postcards, text messages, ringless voicemails, and you should have at least a minimum of that. Okay. All right. So let me see here. So he says there must be a mistake because this is a good county for wholesaling. Yeah, I think it has to do with the foreclosure laws in Texas. I would definitely check with the local people in Texas. I do not invest in Texas. So what I can tell you is that when it comes to foreclosures, okay, the laws are probably slightly different. Okay, and you should just check with the county. This probably has to do with the county because a lot of this stuff is on the county level as well, right? So we know that there's 637 pre-foreclosures. It's just that those criteria, the filter criteria, some of them may be too tight. You know, if I took this out, right, and I take this, what's the other one? 5. Okay, I think was it. Was it this? I think it was that one. I'm not sure. Okay, it's not that one. Okay, I think it was years of ownership. Yeah. So when I take out the years of ownership, right, you can see that the list is up to 10 suddenly, right? And when I go back here, a lot of this data may be inaccurate as it's being fed into the software on from the county, okay? Because again, they are feeding this data into the software from the county. So if the county is now recording single family, multi-family property, you may see this kind of errors. So let me take this single family, multi-family out. Okay, so it's still the same. So it's probably not that. Let's take out the residential. Okay, it's not that. The good news is that you get to play around with it until you figure out what works. Not on the market. Well, I don't want it to be on the market. So that only increases by two properties. So again, we're just playing around with it now. Owner occupied. Okay, so if this is not recorded property, we already tried the vacant part. If I take this out, owner occupied, we end up with 22. Okay, so it's not so much more. And if I take out vacant, okay, then we end up with 637 suddenly. Okay, so the fact that I only want to deal with vacant property, that could be a reason. So let's play around with it again, right? Let's go back and say non-owner occupied. I don't want that. No, right? And I still have 107. Okay. So again, the filter is just for you to narrow down to your budget. Okay. Basically, I love pre-foreclosure. And some people will say, but I try to market to pre-foreclosures, but it's not. Well, that's because you're not doing consistently. I like to do at least 4 touches. So you will count text message as 1 touch. You would count postcard as 1 touch, another touch. You would count what else? Ringless voicemail or another text message as another touch, right? Email, another touch, because you can skip trace both email address and addresses and phone numbers. You can skip trace those for I think 30 cents. Okay, for 30 cents per record, you will pull out multiple phone numbers for each record and email addresses, and you can use those to reach out to those people and offer them to buy their property. Okay, so you can see the filter that's really clearing a lot of this out is the vacant filter. Okay, let's see. Okay, so if I put I turn the vacant off and then it gave me 100, but if I put vacant on, right, I have 12, right? And if I put this on any, right, any, and I put this on any, right, then we have 37. So one thing you can do, let's go play around with we got a few more minutes. We got about 12 more minutes. Let's go around and play with everything else outside of, we know they're facing pre-foreclosure. They may have moved away from the property 30 days ago. Remember, none of this is end all be all. It's just you have filters to narrow the list down to your budget, and you want to be consistent for the next 12 months. That's how to do this business. If you're consistent for the next 12, if you break 1 month in that 12 months, you have to start all over. If you can be, excuse my French, anal about being consistent like that and keep it simple, you will make money. It's as simple as that. Okay. So let's not worry about these 2 filters. Let's go to residential because we still don't want those other type of properties, right? All right. So now I still have 595 by turning those filters on. So you want to play around with your part. That's why I'm doing county to county, because every location still has their own particular characteristics and are different. Okay. So it could be how this data is being fed from that locality into the software. It could be, I don't know. Bottom line is that you can play around with so many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different sections here to stack this list and narrow it down to where you can market consistently. What I'm saying is that don't market strict to all pre-foreclosure. Is a waste of money and resources. Okay, you can add a couple of other things here to make it easier for you. Okay, so not on the market. Okay, I still don't want anything on I still don't want anything on the market. I still want to suppress this down to just notice of default auctions and default releases. Okay, that's still what I want. I still like the idea of auction dates to be in the future. Okay, so this or later, and that's that's no good, okay? Because that took out the whole list. Because I think, again, foreclosure laws, I think you guys out in Texas only have 3 months. I think I've heard that before, that they only have 3 months to pay up, or the property can be foreclosed on. Okay. As a matter of fact, how long does it take to foreclose in? Let me see. How long to foreclose in Texas? 60 days, approximately 60 days. Let me share that with you guys. You guys need to see this, okay? All right. So that's probably why most of the auction dates are in the future. Okay. 60 days. You could Google that yourself. I don't want to switch screens right now. So let's take that out. All right. Okay. So we go ownership. I still like that they've owned the property for a while. Okay, I just like that better, because this, time can be a proof of concept. The idea is that they are distressed. If they just owe the property, owe the money on the property last month, they can come up with the money, or think they can come up with the money and throw my postcards on the side somewhere. I want to deal with people that already made up their mind that they can't afford to hold on to the property. I still want to suppress active bankruptcies. Okay, I don't want to deal with that. All right. And valuation, I still like the idea of 50% minimum equity in there. Okay. And when I open this list, I still got 148. That's better. That's way, way better. Okay. That's way better list for us to mess with. All right. So let's go here. I'm liking it. All right. So let me just take a closer look at all right. So if you're from that area, you know what your area is. But let's go to here, residential. Okay, looks good. All right. So now if I put this on vacant only, it suppresses my list down to 3, right? So I wouldn't chase after 3 properties for the next 1 month. It's not worth your time. You're gonna get frustrated. It's probably gonna be the 3 on your list that you can't find their phone number everywhere, and you would have wasted time. You want to make sure that there's a healthy balance between volume and quality when you're doing any type of business, especially this business. So at least have 100 properties to go after. Make that 100 like your magic number. 100 pieces, okay, maybe 3 doesn't have a phone number, then you still have 97. If 30 doesn't have a phone number, you still have 70 properties to go after for the next 1 month. Don't go after 3. Don't get off the computer and go after 3 properties. If you don't find a phone number, you're setting yourself up mentally to fail, okay? Because you will get frustrated, because this 3 property is going to take you the same energy it will take you to chase after them, as much as it would take you like it's going to take you the same amount of energy as much as it would take you 100. So you want the numbers in your favor, because number one, we've already dug through this and went depth into the 637. But you go down to 100, get that 100, skip trace them, send them email, send them text messages, send them a postcard, send them text messages twice. I prefer text messages than ringless voicemails. Ringless voicemails are somewhat a little bit annoying when they come on my phone. So I can only imagine how annoying it is for people that receive a voicemail, unsolicited, random voice. But a text message is less intrusive, and you can read it and say, yes, I do have a property somewhere that I may like to sell. I'll call him later, or it's right there sitting on the text message. Just you want to put yourself in the shoes of the person who received the message. You don't want it to be intrusive. And yes, you may still get a FU. And if you get a FU, don't worry about it. Just keep it moving. It's a numbers game. Okay, it's a numbers game. All right, so let's keep going here. All right, so we got 148. So let's go back to the filter. Okay, I want this to be any. Okay, let me try this one, owner occupied. Let me try the no again for owner occupied without the vacant. That brings me down to 22. It's too small. Okay, it's too small to go after. What about yes, owner occupied? That means they occupy the property. So most people that live in that area live in the property. Essentially, people buy property in that area as a home to live in. there's less rental situation there. That's what that tells me. Okay, so but that narrows it down to 126. But in all honesty, I don't mind. Obviously, I prefer non-owner occupied, right? So I'm just gonna go back to the filter, right, and just say any for this. Keep it any, and then we have our filter and everything else. Okay, so that's why again I said this yesterday. The filters you set up are gonna be yours, okay, and you know how to set this up and filter through it. So we got 148 properties to go after. I know I said 100, but this is 148. Remember, you may not find phone numbers for all of them. You just want 100 people to go after for the next 1 month. Okay, that's basically what you're trying to do. Is that making sense, guys? Is that making sense? Okay, so if I go into this first property right here, it's saying it's there's some pictures. You know, there's some pictures. All right, so looks like all right. All right, so some properties over there. And this property is facing foreclosure. Why? Who knows? Pre-foreclosure details. Let's look at it. Notice of trustee sale. Original loan 139, 2019 last year. So they took a loan last year. Auction date is on the May. So this date, auction date, what does that mean in your locality? Does that mean it's already auctioned? You want to make sure you find out what that is. Okay. This is a Texas situation, definitely for sure. I would just probably make sure I ask questions before. There are many other counties around the nation with a lot less weird foreclosure situation. But again, you could literally forget this. You could forget all of that. You could go here and say clear all, and you could go back to Bear County, okay? And you could say my county is a little weird on the foreclosure stuff. Let's go. Let's just start from vacant, right? Let's start from the vacant list, right? And vacant properties are some of the best ones to flip, right? And you can go in the filter, right? And you could start from vacant list. We already know that everything is vacant here, so we don't have to touch this, right? Non-owner occupied, right? And then we do the same thing essentially. Okay, so in that, if you insist you like your locality and you want to deal with that, you could start from there, and you can do exactly what I'm doing right now. Okay, we go to I like to exclude anything homeowners association. I don't like to deal with condos and community living, not for this type of business. Okay, no, not on the market. And let's see, ownership 5 years. I like 5 years minimum. I like to suppress has active bankruptcy, pre-foreclosure. Well, this will do the same thing that we did earlier. So just leave that. You can actually say exclude all foreclosures. Okay. All right. And valuation, you can go to 50%. Okay. All right. So let's see here. We're rounding up. We're rounding up. All right. So now we end up with 1,139 properties so far. Okay, just going off of vacant. All right, so we already know now on the market. This one, let me see if this narrows it down. No, because it's the same list essentially, right? We already messed with this. We already said this. All right, exclude this ownership minimum. Okay, so exclude pre-foreclosure, exclude foreclosures. I don't want bank owned really, but so another thing you can do, that list is too big right there. You can go to ownership and you can go here and say, I only want individuals. All right, that should drop that list to see by 200. So you can keep narrowing down like that with the criteria. Okay, like that. And I'm trying to look a little closer to see if there's anything non-owner occupied property. Okay. All right. So you just want to play around with that. Obviously, that's a lot bigger list that you can market to. That's a lot bigger list. Now, this property right here is on a state highway. Okay, so that's a land. Okay, it looks like a land or just some building in the middle of nowhere. So that kind of property, I wouldn't want it on that list. So there's one of those filters that would have eliminated that completely. Let's see, residentials only. I did say that. Owner occupied, right? Ownership info. Let's see here. Now you could say out of state owner on this one. That can suppress the list as well. So that's suppressed the list down to 47. Why do we deal with out of state owner? Because many of them are tired landlords. Okay, they have additional reasons why they may need to get rid of a property. Okay, another thing you can do as a last filter you can do here. Okay, another tip right here. Under here, we're gonna put this back. Take that out, right? And we're gonna go here and say, you know what? I need this to be 10 years or older. They've owned it for 10 years. So you go after properties being owned for more than 10 years, but it's vacant, right? And you can keep suppressing it like that. All right. So there you go. Thank you so much for hanging out. That's all we have for today. Hopefully, you'll be educated and enlightened. Don't forget, go to right now, before you leave, I have a free gift on at the website myEmpirePRO.com. Okay, if you go there, you can download the book for free. Smart Real Estate Wholesaling and Real Estate Money Secrets. You can go get it at myEmpirePRO.com. All right. Don't forget to also, we have some calculators, some free tools and stuff like that. But more importantly, if you're watching me on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, please. Anything you can do to help the videos get some more shines, that would be nice. And also, if you want to practice using this software, you can find it at empirebigdata.com. Thank you so much, guys. If you have any questions, I'll take another 30 seconds. If you have any questions right now, another 30 seconds, and then we can call it a day. Another 30 seconds and a day. And thank you, TX. Thank you for hanging out, Texas Anaconda. Thank you. All right. By the way, we do have a group for D2D Nation. Okay. So if you go in the link of the description box, you can join the group over there. Okay. All right. All right. Peace.